Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. When you're tuned in, you're with Lady Business and Give It to the People Radio, where you're going to get enlightened, enhanced, empowered, and enriched. Make sure that you always tune in to Give It to the People Radio. All right, so we are back, and I like to do this thing that I like to call Power Quarter Hour. I did it a couple years ago, and I would do it every night at like 8 o'clock and just kind of give you some information. And it would be usually about a business topic, something that's happening, something that you can use immediately. And today I want to take my Power Quarter Hour, and I want to use it to talk about social responsibility. So this is the biggest thing that's happening right now. Popeyes chicken. And I'm not here to necessarily give praise to Popeyes chicken. Their marketing strategy is actually very amazing because they have gotten us to give them literally millions of dollars in advertisement, literally millions of dollars in free advertisement. I'm just going to be honest. I'm guilty. That first time I saw everybody talking about it and I was like, well, let me check out this chicken, right? So I checked out the chicken. First time it was really good, and I was like, okay. Then they ran out of the chicken, which I think was kind of like a planned obsolescence kind of thing where they were like, okay, well, we don't have any more chicken, so it's coming back around again. They did not think about how much as far as I guess, everything that just really happened that they were going to sell out. Now, I think that they might have done that in the background and sold out on purpose. They might not have thought that they were going to sell out as quickly, but they did. Okay. So then they tell you we're coming back. And of course, guess what? They just happened to come back right before Thanksgiving. Now, my issue is not the chicken sandwich. My issue is not the marketing. My issue is not even us deciding that we wanted to tell people that we like the product, because I think that that's what we should do as people who like a product, right? So for me, I'm always quick to say, well, I like this, or this business is great, or you should go here, or I had a great meal. I think that that's an important thing. However, the issue that I have is with social responsibility. So since they have relaunched this chicken sandwich, there has been one man that has been murdered, okay, stabbed to death over a chicken sandwich. There has also been a woman who, well, let's just say it like this. I'm going to be blunt because I can be, right? The word nigger with an ER on the end has been used in several instances with people that are not of color against the people that are making these chicken sandwiches. And there have been so many acts of violence as a result of it. Now, I think that people need to understand that there is a responsibility that comes along with the marketing, the packaging, and everything. Popeyes cannot be completely responsible for other people's racism and blatant disregard for just general human necessity of respect. They can't be responsible for that. But what they can be held responsible for is the fact that they see that these things are happening and they're just worried about the fact that lines are happening. The lines are there. People are still getting these chicken sandwiches. People are still coming in and spending money. And the shareholders are laughing all the way to the bank. So at first, it seemed a little harsh when people were saying, well, black people don't go out here and be so concerned with Popeyes chicken and help them market. Then it was so many people that were like, well, market your friend's business the same exact way that you market these Popeyes chicken sandwiches. Now, I am here to say that I think that at this point in time, Popeyes needs to really take a stand and possibly just stop selling these chicken sandwiches. I am sure that they have made more money than they ever thought about making with this chicken sandwich. And it may seem so simple to say, well, if it's from a business perspective, you should do what's best for the business. But when you see that your product is affecting people in such a negative way, it is your responsibility to make sure that other people are not harmed. And as simple as it is, I saw this other thing in Houston. Six people went in armed to go and steal chicken sandwiches. What kind of craziness is this? And let's be honest, and let's be brutally honest, this is not other people from other races that are going crazy over chicken sandwiches. This is African American, black, however you want to say it, people that are doing these things. I think it's fine for you to stand in the line to get something that you want. I think it's fine for you to like something and fine for you to patronize a business. But when it comes to the point where you're fighting, when it comes to the point where you're threatening people's lives, when it comes to the point where people are literally jumping over counters, then I have a problem with it. Now, on the flip side of that, I also want to say there was another case, and this is not Popeyes, this is McDonald's, right? So then when we talk about social responsibility, you have to be responsible for yourself and for your actions, right? So did you see the video where the lady was out of control because she didn't get her order right at McDonald's, right? So she goes into the McDonald's, cusses out the manager, and throws food and a milkshake at the manager. Now, what was the manager's reply to this? The manager threw a whole damn blender. Not a half a blender, a whole damn blender, okay? I'm sorry, it's just so funny because when you watch it, the blender hits the lady in the face, and I think she may have broken like something. She swole up her eye socket. Everything is out of whack, right? Now, of course, the manager from McDonald's was in the wrong, but she wasn't in the wrong until the other lady wronged her first. Now, does it make it any worse that this lady was more seriously injured because she got a blender thrown at her and got that face busted up, which is probably what should have happened, right? Because you threw stuff at another person. Now, one thing I can say that I was raised with, you don't spit on anybody and you don't throw something at somebody, because them there is fighting words. So when it comes down to it, I just feel like we as a society are not as socially responsible as we need to be. So whether you're talking about individuals or whether you're talking about corporations, at the end of the day, we need to start to look at ourselves, and we need to make sure that we are doing the best things that we can do. Now, I can say that I have been a person who my temper has gotten the best of me at times, but you have to think of the repercussions. A chicken sandwich is not worth going to jail for. A milkshake is not worth going to jail for. Now, how is it that other companies, right, can go ahead and do promotions and this craziness doesn't happen? So what I did was I did some research, and this is what I want you to know. The original owner of Popeyes was from Louisiana. He originally started a business to compete with Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, when he started this business to compete with Kentucky Fried Chicken, it didn't work out well for him. So he went back to the drawing board. And what he did at this time, because this was the 60s when fast food was not as popular as it is now. Now it's 2019, almost 2020, and so fast food is nothing for us. But in the 60s, fast food was not as big of a thing. So what he did in order to fight basically the machine of KFC, because it was already there, it was pretty much the staple, was he went and he said, well, let's use these Louisiana spices. They did specific market research that basically let them know that African Americans would spend money and also are not as worried about their health as other populations. Now, he made sure that with his marketing all the way back then, that what he did was targeted us, and they are still targeting us. Now, you may have some people that say, well, the franchisee is black. Okay, so whoever owns this franchise could probably, I don't know, probably make the decision to be a little bit more safe, could probably hire police officers if necessary to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. But the franchisees are not doing that. So they don't care about you being safe. They don't care about the overworked employees that they have. What they're doing is caring about the bottom line. And when it comes down to it, it has to be a little bit more responsibility about what we're doing and about what we're letting our community become. So when you think about this, take into consideration with this Popeyes chicken, the nice little Louisiana lady with that cute little wig, she is not even advertising these chickens, right? They don't pay her until it's time for the shrimp and the chicken and the voodoo chicken and all of the rest of that to come in, right? If you watch Cat Williams' special, he was saying he didn't trust the Popeyes chicken lady. And so you got to watch that because it's a whole nother vibe, right? But what I'm saying to you is Popeyes is not owned by black people. Okay, and I'm not saying that means don't support Popeyes, but I am trying to say when you're looking at where the money is going, if you want it to be more productive, you would probably buy stock in a company because you clearly see that it's going up. And if that was the case, at least you'd be making some money off of it. We consume so much. but we're not necessarily the creators of a lot. And again, the franchisees, they're getting that money from everybody going and standing in lines. But I think that it has gotten to a point where it's a little ridiculous. So when we talk about what we can do to be a little bit more socially responsible, I really need you guys to consider that. Like, a chicken sandwich is not worth it. A chicken sandwich is not worth it. Is there something where you're supporting an individual business? Is there something positive? So let me give you something positive that you can support that I know is a Black business. If you were to go down to Atlanta to Slutty Vegan, I have been to Slutty Vegan. I stood in line in the summertime, in July, I need you to understand this, for an hour and a half at Slutty Vegan. Black people, brown people, white people in line for an hour and a half standing in the hot sun in Atlanta, Georgia. No fights, no stabbing. And I'm telling you, this was actually one of the most kumbaya things I've ever had as far as an experience. The reason I stood in line was because before I got to Atlanta, I made the decision that this is a Black woman that's made $1 million within the course of a year that started from a food truck. Okay. And then she opened up this brick and mortar location. Now, I'm not even a vegan, but I made the decision that I was going to support regardless of whatever the situation was. I stood in line, but let me tell you about the man that was in front of me. This brother was from Brooklyn. He came down there to visit his son, right? And he said that he had to try it because he was just talking about, you know, the need for health and the need for being able to have great vegan food. And he was a vegan, right? This man was in his 50s. And what he said was he stood in the line the day before for about an hour as well. And then he came back the next day because he felt like it was that good and he wanted to support. Now, Slutty Vegan's not the only restaurant that's out there, but this is an example of putting your money and being socially responsible in a good place. So there are Black-owned restaurants right now that might be struggling. They might be doing okay. I don't know. But if you can find out where these Black-owned restaurants are and go and support them locally, that would be a better use of your time and your dollars. So if you're local and you're here in Greensboro, let me tell you, go to Magnolia House. Black-owned. She's now a member also of the Chamber of Commerce, all right? And home-cooked food. I'm sure she could make you a chicken sandwich if necessary. If you're talking about going to Winston, go to Sweet Potatoes, all right? There are plenty of Black-owned establishments that you can support and be socially responsible. And then, yes, take pictures, eat that food, do videos, and share that business because that's what is actually making the economy better, and you're supporting your community. And you don't need, you know, a big marketing campaign to go and eat somewhere and enjoy yourself. Even when you're talking about whatever city you're in, there is some Black-owned restaurant, there is some Black-owned bakery, there is some Black-owned juice bar. There's something that you can go and support. And so I'm not just saying just support Black-owned. I am really saying support small business because we are the ones that really need it. The big corporate machine is going to keep pushing out Popeyes until the big corporate machine doesn't make any more money, and then they'll switch over to something else. But I'm saying support locally, shop small, because that's what social responsibility really is. So now I can kind of get off my soapbox. That's been our Power Quarter hour for today, and I want to see if I can get. Do you want to jump on cuteness? Mm-hmm. You want to come on? Mm-hmm. Your top. Did you bring your top 10? Mm-hmm. No. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was going to see if the CEO over there wanted to jump on, but he's in the background chilling today. So the biggest thing that I want you to think about is what can you do in your community? So today, if you were watching the live, we had Byron come on talking about the school system, right? And what you can do for your kids and all of the different programs that are available. We also had 2 small businesses come on where we had Womb Buzz and then we had BB Body Butters. And there are events that you can go to. There are websites that you can make purchases at. So please definitely do that. Now, I want to leave you with just a little tidbit because there is something that's coming up. So on Wednesday, I will be live on WXII News 12 in Winston-Salem, and we'll be talking about National Entrepreneurship Month, which that's what November is, National Entrepreneurship Month. So if you would do me a favor, it's a couple of things that I want to talk to you about that you can do to help a small business. You can, and you don't have to spend any money to do this. businesses. You can share their posts, all right? It costs you no money to press share. You can comment on their posts, which helps them with engagement. You can like their posts, which also helps with engagement. Now, one thing that's getting ready to come up for a lot of US users is that Instagram, starting this week, is going to be taking away the likes. So on the outside, you will not be able to see how many likes. And there are so many influencers. Oh, they are sick, honey. They are so sick over it because it's like, oh my God, my advertisements, my money. You'll still be able to see the analytics behind the scenes. But do you think the world would be a little bit better if we weren't so focused on likes? It might be. But you have to take into consideration that regardless of a like does not necessarily equal $1. You have to actually help spread the word about the businesses that you enjoy, because that's what keeps them in business. So you can like, you can share, you can send a comment, right? You can go ahead and join an email list. You can download, you can subscribe. There are so many ways to help businesses without you actually spending money. And those things definitely keep people paying attention to what's going on. So for me, we do have the Give It to the People podcast, which is what you're listening to today. So you can subscribe and download that. But you also have Real Affirmations podcast, Real Ass Affirmations podcast. You can go ahead and subscribe and you can download it. You can like that. For Real Glow Getters, we have one called Women on the Glow podcast. But there are so many other things that you can do. So if you'd like to help me, what I'd like is for you to give a 5-star review on Google. You can type in Lady Business and you will definitely be able to find it. You can give a 5-star review there and leave a comment. But you can also give a 5-star review on Facebook. So if you like what you see today, then okay. Another way that you can help is once this video is over, you can press watch party. So you can allow other people to watch this video with you. And maybe you didn't watch this in its entirety, but if you watched a part of it, by you sharing that watch party, it enables me to be able to be in more people's phones, living rooms, computers, all of the rest of that. So I'm giving you ways for you to be able to support through a National Entrepreneurship Month, because it's important that if people have small businesses, that other people get to hear about it. And that's why we're using this platform here with Lady Business to be able to let you know with Podbiz Studios, Real Glow Getters, everything that I'm involved in, that there is a way for people to know about what you do. And I tell people all the time, if you don't tell people you're great, then other people don't know. So don't be the best kept secret, because people need to know about your business.
Thank you so much for listening to Give It to the People Radio. Make sure that you follow us online at ladybusiness.com, LADYBIZNESS. We look forward to helping you grow, sustain, and maintain your business.